In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I went from a skinny 125 pounds to a massive 197 pounds in my first 2 years of lifting. And if you stay until the very end, I have a bonus tip at the end that changed everything for me. So the biggest reason you're not gaining muscle is simply because you're not eating enough or you're overestimating the amount of food that you are actually eating. As skinny guys, we have fast metabolisms, making it really hard for us to gain weight. Because of this, we have to eat way more than we are typically used to. You can work out, you can go to the gym, you can take supplements and do everything right, but it will be way faster and easier once you finally are in a calorie surplus. And the easiest way to know if you're in a calorie surplus is simply to track it. I use MyFitnessPal, but you can use a different app if you'd like. Caloric surplus, the key to muscle gain. So once I finally started to track what I was eating on a consistent basis, I started to gain weight. I started tracking everything I put in my mouth, pause, how much I weighed every single morning, and above all else, I made sure I hit my calorie goal and I made it a non-negotiable. I didn't give in to my feelings. I didn't do it if my stomach hurt. I always ate the amount of food I was supposed to eat regardless of how I felt. And I set alarms on my phone that went off every 2 to 3 hours to eat my food and to get my protein in, and I tracked it. Once I did this, everything in the gym was easy. I started getting bigger and stronger. Pause. All right. So what's the perfect split? The easiest and most simple split to follow in the beginning is a simple push-pull leg split. So my suggestion to you is to start with 3 days a week, push-pull legs, and do one push, one pull, one legs, and do them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This will allow you to get into the rhythm and the consistency of showing up to the gym and not feel overwhelmed with having to go 6 times a week. And you'll also still make really good progress because going to the gym 3 times a week is obviously better than not going at all. And if you already are going, it's nice that you have a structure now. So I wouldn't complicate it. I do push, pull legs. On push days, hit chest, shoulders, and triceps. On back day, hit back and biceps. That includes traps as well. And then legs, I would just do quads, hamstrings, calves, and I would add abs as well. After a few months of consistently going to the gym 3 times a week with your push-pull leg split, I would consider going to 6 days a week push-pull leg split. And you can up the intensity as well. So now that you have a calorie surplus and you go to the gym 3 times a week, how big of a calorie surplus should you have? Common mistake. Do not eat everything in sight and call it bulking. The goal is to get jacked and stay as lean as possible. The best range of a calorie surplus is 275 to 500 above maintenance. A good place to start is to times your current body weight by 15 and add that surplus amount, 275 to 500. The reason I always suggest skinny guys to do it this way is because timesing your current body weight by 15 is a pretty accurate estimate of your current maintenance calories. And all that means is if you eat that amount every single day, you will not gain weight or lose weight. That's why it's called maintenance calories. And now that we have that number, we want to add on top of it. So you're in a calorie surplus, meaning you're eating more calories than your body burns, which means you'll gain weight, right? Bunch of simple jargon. For example, right now I weigh 170 pounds. So on the low end, my starting calories would be about 2,825 calories. And on the high end, my starting calories would be 3,050. Now, if I didn't gain weight from either of those calorie amounts, I would simply add 200 calories on top of that number until I started gaining. Ideally, you want to gain about half a pound a week or 2 pounds a month. Protein, the muscle builder. The media has drastically overemphasized the importance of protein needs. However, the 1 gram protein per pound of body weight stands the test of time. The reason for this is because the FDA can lie about the food labels by up to 20%. Can you believe that, bro? It's crazy. Studies, and it's legal. They're legally lying to us. Studies show that you only need as low as 0.7 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight to build and sustain muscle growth. But since they're lying to us, like we're some rodents, we have to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight to make up for that discrepancy, to make up for that 20%, give or take, right? So it says 10 grams of protein, it could be 8 grams of protein. And you add that up through all the meals you're eating, all the protein shakes, it's going to offset it. So we only need as low as 0.7 to 0.8, but I would strongly suggest you do 1 gram protein per pound of body weight. Carbs and fats, fuel for gains. Disclaimer, in the very beginning, you should not be worried about your carbs or fats. I would strongly suggest you dial in your protein and your calories and forget carbs and fats. I wouldn't even focus on them because those are your two main pillars. And if you can hit your protein and your calories, you're going to make really good progress. And I wouldn't stress yourself out with too much information at first. So dial in your protein, 1 gram protein per pound of body weight, or goal body weight. If you're super skinny, if you're like 130, I would set it to goal body weight. And then hit your calories, right? We just did that calculation, so that should be simple and easy for you. So write down your calories, do the math, your body weight times 15 plus 275 to 500, and then write down your goal body weight in protein for 1 gram. I hope that makes sense. So if you're 130 pounds and your goal body weight is 170, you don't have to eat 170. Eat 130 and then increase as you go. I'm sorry, that was a little confusing, but I thought about it since I'm 170 pounds. If I'm bulking to 190, I want 190. But since you're first starting out, just do your current body weight. Okay. Your first priority, like I said, is calorie and protein. This will make sure you grow and build muscle, even if you do other things incorrectly. So even if your form is trash at the gym, which it probably will be because you have no idea what you're doing, it won't matter because you're hitting the nail on the head with the other things. Don't overcomplicate it, but once you do focus on your carbs and fats, I always suggest doing your body weight in carbs and do 60 to 80 grams of fat. Carbs are your source of energy and fuel in the gym. So if you're not eating enough carbs and you're doing some trash keto diet, you're going to have no energy. Your mouth will be dry. You'll feel super dehydrated unless you're drinking a bunch of electrolytes. So get your carbs in. And your fats are going to support hormonal growth and testosterone, not hormonal growth. And fats will support hormones and testosterone. So don't go too low on those as well. Supplementation. I would suggest dialing in your sleep, calories, and protein first, and then go to supplements. Supplements are a supplement for a reason. They're an addition. They are not magic, okay? So once you're doing everything correctly, then go ahead and get these. 5 grams of creatine monohydrate a day, protein powder, magnesium, zinc, or any form of minerals are really good for you, especially as men. They help with our testosterone. And I would also suggest a sleep aid, just so you're getting high quality sleep. I would not suggest getting any with melatonin because it'll make you feel groggy in the morning. The one I suggest is Unisum, and I would get the tablets and not the gels. Side note, you could also get vitamin D3 if you don't get enough sun, or take fish oil if you're having joint issues, but those are over the top, not necessary. Rest and recovery. Sleep is a magic drug, which is why I made a whole other video about it. If you haven't watched that one, watch that one after this, but wait till the very end for the last tip I have to give you. The more you can get of it, the better for muscle growth. Ideally, you want 8 to 10 hours a night. We obviously all have busy lives, but also a lot of us waste a lot of time doing nothing. So my suggestion is for you to do the time equation times the amount you work, the time you go to the gym, and time you spend with family, as well as how much you sleep, and then subtract it by 168. We have 168 hours in every week. That's 24 times 7. Most people only work 40 hours. It's crazy. They sleep 56 hours a week and then waste the rest. So you could sleep for 70, which is 10 hours a night. You could sleep for 70 hours a week, work out 5 to 6 hours a week, which is all you need. It's what I told you, right? 6 times a week is a push-pull leg, so an hour a day. That's perfect. Work 40 hours. It's crazy. Work more than that. And still have 52 hours left for family, hygiene, skills, anything you want. So there's no excuses. No excuses. If you're only working 40 hours a week, you better be sleeping 10 hours a night and going to the gym like crazy. There's no excuse. No excuse. Dirty bulking, eating clean, and finding the balance. As skinny men, it's already hard for us to eat enough calories. Not to mention, healthy, high nutrient foods are difficult to eat in large amounts, and none of us want to be eating 6 meals a day. So, does that mean we should just eat whatever we want, call it dirty bulking? Absolutely not. The solution is 80-20. Hit your protein for the day, then you can fill the rest with foods you enjoy to hit the rest of your calories. For example, today I had a bacon egg omelet with cheddar cheese, fire, and at the time of making this video, my wife's getting it for us right now. I'm going to have Dairy Queen and Domino's cheesy bread with my wife. And I'm doing that while cutting. So when you're bulking, you'll have more room to go because your calories would be higher than mine. And I wouldn't worry too much about this. A lot of people geek out about the health stuff, but we're not health nerds. We're just trying to get jacked and stay lean. So don't be a health geek. We're not doing all the vegan stuff. None of that. Okay, we're not doing that. We're gym bros. Okay. Progressive overload. Progressive overload is fancy jargon, simply meaning training harder every single time you go into the gym. But that's not just a frame of speech. You literally have to increase the weight or the reps every session. The easiest way to do this is to use what is called a double progression model. This means that you increase reps first and then weight. For example, if you're doing 3 by 6 to 8 on incline bench press, and last week you did 135 pounds for 3 by 6, next week you do 135 pounds for 3 by 7, and then the following week you do 135 pounds for 3 by 8. And then, once you reach the higher end of the rep range, you would increase the weight by 2.5 to 5 pounds and drop to 6 reps again. So, to summarize what I just said, you increase reps until you're at the higher end of the rep range, then you increase weight and then drop the reps. I hope that makes sense. It's on the screen so you can read it. It's not complicated. It's super easy. Focusing on compounds. Right now, there's a lot of hype about science-based training, isolation movements, machine work, etc. It's all garbage. Throw it in the trash. You will get the most bang for your buck hitting compounds. This is because you will hit the largest amount of muscle groups at once. And when you're just starting out and you're a skinny guy, you want to be able to go up in weight every single week as fast as possible, following the double progression model I just said. So my suggestion is to always lead with the compound movement, then follow it with your machine work or isolations. So it's not one or the other, it's both. And I do that for every single muscle group. For example, on leg day, do squats or reformer squats like hack squats, Bulgarian split squats, and then follow it with your leg presses, leg extensions, stuff like that. Okay, this is the bonus tip that changed everything for me, and this is only for the people who are absolutely serious about getting in the best shape of their life. If you're not serious about it, you can click off now and go off to some other videos. But if you want to get into the best shape of your entire life, listen to this. It's super easy. It's low-hanging fruit, and you will crush everyone who wants to get in shape if you do this. So in the beginning of my fitness journey, I never made significant progress until I tracked my calories. That's an absolute fact. I was super skinny until I started doing that because I thought I was eating way more than I was. That gave me about 80% of my improvement. However, as a newbie gains slow down and you get more advanced in the gym, you still need that other 20% to maximize. And that comes in the form of tracking your sleep, tracking the amount of water you take, tracking your supplements, tracking your lifts, tracking how much water you drink, tracking your macros and calories every single day, using a food scale even when you go out to eat, and weighing yourself every single morning and tracking it. If you don't want to do this, that's fine. But what you can't do is want exceptional results and do the bare minimum. Exceptional results require extreme action for long durations of time. That's everything for this video. You guys go and watch my other videos. Follow me on Instagram at Skinny2Herculean, and I will catch you next time. Peace.